I, 21 female, was told by my boyfriend Nate, 26 male, that I get the house to myself for the weekend. He said he had to go visit his parents to take care of a property-related issue. I was pretty excited to have the house to myself because I've been living with Nate since I was 19, and I miss living alone, though Nate is in no way a trouble to live with. I had this tradition of spending a lot of my weekends baking while in my lingerie. I don't know, it makes me feel pretty. Yes, I know it's stupid, but it just makes me stupid happy, with music and dancing. Super embarrassing to admit, but I also do silly things like pretending I'm a Victoria's model or a singer and I sing along loudly. I mention this because this means the house is usually a mess. My dresses are all over and the music is super loud, which is obviously not okay. I hadn't done that in a long time because Nate hates loud music and he's not a fan of my cupcakes, so I decided to do it this weekend. So it's Sunday, and I put on What a Feeling by One Direction, and it's super loud. I'm only wearing lingerie, the Victoria's kind and so lacy, which I regret so much looking back. Ugh. My boyfriend used his key to open the door, and I didn't hear him come in because, like I said, it's loud in the house, and I'm also in the kitchen/living room area. Apparently he wanted to surprise me. Nate brought his mom, dad, and his sister's 2 little kids. They come in and there I am, frozen in a dance pose like an idiot. I quickly ran to our room yelling, "Sorry, wasn't expecting anyone," and was putting on clothes when Nate comes in. He was so angry. He said I was acting like a child and that I embarrassed him. His parents wanted Nate to drop them back ASAP, refusing to stay, and his mom called me a lot of names and said the kids had seen everything, and that made me feel guilty. Here's why I'm losing sleep over this. On one hand, I didn't know they would come. I locked the door too, so I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I planned on cleaning up my mess before Nate came home too. Also, Nate and his mom insulted me a lot. But when you look at it from their perspective, I was behaving like an immature person. The house was a mess. I looked a mess. There were baking supplies scattered. Nate just wanted to surprise me and do something nice. Nate is still not completely talking to me. I don't know how to face his family, and I also know his sister told him to make me behave. So I feel like I should apologize before things get worse, but I can't decide for sure if I'm in the wrong here. Edit. Nate's family is also really conservative, and he was brought up like that as well. I think I should have added this in. Not the idiot. Nate is a total idiot here. He tells you that you will have the apartment to yourself, and then decides to surprise you with what exactly? A visit from his family? Wow, what a great surprise. He has no right to be upset at you. You didn't know anyone was going to be home. He also has no right to insult you. Never in a relationship should your significant other insult you. Wait, your boyfriend is angry at you because he walked in on you? Am I tracking this correctly? No, not the idiot. You are allowed to do what you want in your house. Why would he even bring people by without a heads up anyways? That's just so weird. And please don't get me started on Mom. She's off her rocker. You don't get to go insult someone in their home. You don't want to show? Send a text before just walking in. There's so much audacity here I just don't even know. What I do know is you owe nobody an apology. You did nothing wrong. They owe you many. Their behavior was completely and utterly unacceptable. And you need to sit down and really evaluate and see what is happening here. This is in no way a normal, acceptable, or even reasonable response to their error. To have the balls to insult you in your own home for enjoying yourself? OMG! Heaven forbid that you have a single moment of happiness for yourself and to make yourself feel good. The nerve of these people. They need to apologize to you in a huge way. You did nothing wrong. Everyone should be able to dance and sing in their own home. I do it too when hubby's at work and I'm home with the cat. It makes housework more fun. I wouldn't blame you for dumping this guy either. If that's how he's reacting now, how much worse is he going to behave in the future when you do something the family doesn't approve of? Not the idiot. Also, if you are with a man who is angry that his girlfriend is in lingerie baking things and he doesn't like your cupcakes, he just might not be the right man for you or anyone else. Unless he's gay or a vegan, that's not the right reaction. My friend and I, both 25 female, met in our freshman year of university. However, 2 years into it, she decided to be a dancer and law school wasn't it for her, so she dropped out. Nobody in her family wanted her to study law because being a lawyer is a pretty dangerous career in our country if the wrong people hire you and you fail their cases. But she wanted it, and so her family pretty much stopped talking to her after that. When she dropped out, I asked her if she was going to tell her family, and she said she wasn't, since being a dancer wasn't something they'd approve of anyway. I consider her my best friend. However, my husband, 25, doesn't like her and says she only causes drama and unsolicited problems. She says that he's too frugal for her liking, but they're civil towards each other, and after a few beers, they get along just fine. 3 days ago, she came to my house and told me she had something to ask. She said that after so many years, she started to long for her family, her parents mostly. She wanted to reconnect with them. When she called them, her parents answered, but they had too many expectations: a good career, a house, a husband, and out of panic, she said yes to all of them and that she wanted to borrow my life for a day or two. She wants to invite her parents, show them that life was treating her well, and start something from there. So my friend wanted to use my house, dogs, and husband, and during those 2 days, I could stay in her apartment or she'd pay for a hotel. I was shocked at first. I told her that the whole idea didn't sound good, and that if she wanted to get her family back, maybe being honest was the best choice, and that she could explain to them that she answered out of panic about that perfect life. She told me that I didn't know her family and to please help her out. I said that as much as I wanted, I couldn't do it because my dogs and mostly my husband weren't objects to move and give as I pleased, that she could just use the house as a safe place for dinner, but she had to tell them that it wasn't hers. She called me unreasonable and left. Now some of her friends, all females, told me letting her do this for a day or two was harmless and that she knew her family better than anyone. She could fix the things along the way. I told them that even if I did that, she had to take some fake photos with my husband, buy some things to make the house hers, and that being honest would be much cheaper. They called me an idiot for not helping her, and that if she asked them, they would do it without hesitation. My friends asked for my life because at the end of the day, my husband knows her and it'll be easier. She can't have her girlfriend do it because her parents don't know she's gay. Not the idiot. Your best friend is insane. Unfortunately, this won't end well, and helping her lie to her family is going to blow up on you and anyone else within the blast radius. Don't do this. This right here. Your friend is insane, and all your mutual friends saying let her do it are also insane. What's next? Kicking you out to a hotel for the holidays? And when the in-laws visit? And deleting your entire social media profile because someone will see? Your husband must be choking on his "I told you so" right now. Shut this down right now and block her from your social media. Not the idiot. Asking to take over your life for a few days, share a bedroom with your husband, dinner at your table, all because she panicked and lied to her parents, is way beyond the red line. You don't know her parents. You don't know what they will do if they come around at random. And just the idea of giving your life over to someone for this con is insane. Also, anyone thinking this is okay is insane too. She needs to grow up and own up to her real life. Get new friends, OP. These people are not your friends. Your life is just that, and no one has a right to borrow it. My partner and I went away for a weekend with friends and left our dog with a sitter who agreed to stay at our house so we didn't have to board the dog somewhere. Around 3 a.m. on one of the nights, the sitter let the dog out, apparently was barking, and got locked out of the house. We could see on the video doorbell that they tried the other doors to get in and tried calling us through the doorbell, but we were sleeping. The next day, we find out that the sitter broke the window on the back door to get back into the house. We cut our trip short, relieved the sitter, and started making calls to get it fixed. It turns out the glass on the door isn't easily replaced due to the way the door was manufactured, so it's more cost-effective to replace. The service we use says they cover damage caused during the stay, after a deductible has been met, $250 in this case. Here's where I may be the idiot. I want the sitter to pay for the deductible, since this is essentially their fault. We had to cut our trip short, deal with the hassle of replacing, likely won't be able to get it fixed until next week or longer, due to the door being an odd size and having one shipped. Am I in the wrong here? My parent doesn't want to make the sitter pay, but I feel like we shouldn't have to pay for someone else's stupidity. We paid up front for them to watch the dog. Otherwise, I would be refusing payment. Additional info. We paid the sitter $70 a night for the stay. House sitting was part of the agreement. First time using them, and I have no idea what finances are like for them. I think mid to late 40s, probably doing this as a side gig. The key was provided in a lockbox outside. Sitter left the key on the table when they went out with the dog. I saw that they were smoking outside on the pet cam, so assume it was also a smoke break when the dog was let out during the night. No other reason to go outside with the dog since the yard is fenced. So, am I the idiot here? How clearly do you think at 3 a.m. after being woken up because your dog is barking at you? It was a mistake, plain and simple. Would you have preferred she and the dog just camp out on your lawn with no food, water, etc. until you answered your Ring cam sometime the next day? You are an idiot. Not the idiot. This wasn't a friend or neighbor. This was a service you paid money for. They then locked themselves out of your home and called you at 3 a.m. via the doorbell. Ring is pretty great that way. Broke your window and you came back early. So you didn't get all the time you paid for, have a $250 bill, and all the stress that accompanies it. Everyone is the idiot. Unfortunately, when you employ someone, you also employ their stupidity. Accidents happen. You should cover this one. Hire a better sitter next time and inform them of a temporary hidden key location only for that sitter. As far as prepaying them, they still worked part of the day you came home early. Asking for 2 nights back wouldn't cover the damage. I, 55 female, have a sister, 60. She was perfectly healthy until last year after a stroke. For background reference, my sister and I never got along. When I entered uni in my early 20s, she went behind my back and stole my savings, and my parents defended her and backed her up saying she needed it because she had kids. When my young daughter came out premature, she would mock me for not having healthy kids. Those are just a few examples. Flash forward a few years back, when her oldest son got married, his new wife got diagnosed with breast cancer. My sister claimed her daughter-in-law was lying about it, and she proceeded to make that girl's life a living nightmare. She would always try to cause conflict between the couple and would oversee their kid when they had sued her for child neglect while the kid was in her care and almost drowned because she was busy smoking. As you can see, her oldest son isn't getting along with her either, and neither is her daughter-in-law. Her younger son is out of the country and doesn't have much contact with anyone. Last year, after her stroke, her legs stopped working and she required special care. For some time, her son had hired a nurse to care for her, but a couple of months ago, the nurse quit because my sister verbally abused her. After that, her son, my nephew, tried to tell me that I should care for her since they don't want the responsibility after all his mom has done to them. I said I understand they don't want the responsibility, but it's not my responsibility either, and I've endured my part of verbal and emotional hurt by my sister. When I refused to help them out, both my nephew and his wife called me because I was insensitive towards the fact that his wife has cancer and couldn't see her after what she did to their kid. I wish I could help, but I don't feel like it's right for that burden to fall on me, considering I've suffered because of her too, in a way. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You have no obligation whatsoever to take care of your sister. The nephew is trying to use guilt to manipulate you. By giving reasons or discussing it, you open the door to the idea that you can be convinced that your position is negotiable or that your reasons are wrong, so they should be debated. Simply say no and stop discussing it with them. Her younger son knows but doesn't care. He's gone no contact with the whole family after his traumatic childhood and has completely changed his life. We barely get news of him except a couple of times a year. Not the idiot. Nephew trying to force you to take care of her is. I tell him you understand, but if he refuses to care for her, you are simply going to call adult social services and let her go to the system because you can't care for her, and she seemingly doesn't have the means to care for herself. Ask if he's informed his younger son about mom's care. Not the idiot. Your sister has been a textbook narcissist your whole life, and the rest of your family has enabled it. She's a grown adult who can figure it out herself. If the rest of your family wants to help, they can. If you want to throw some support financially, fine, but do it from a distance. Her becoming disabled doesn't entitle her to more opportunities to hurt you. For context, me, 18 male, and my 3 friends, same age, have planned a trip to go to Amsterdam. We've been planning this for 2 months. We've all agreed to gather up at least 500 euros per person for everything we would need, from flight tickets to money to eat. Cut to 2 months forward, I've been working 3 jobs. Basically, I slept 4 hours a day for a month and a half and accumulated a total of 800 euros. Minimum wage where I live is 300 euros, and that's basically what I worked for. I asked my friends how much they've gathered, and what I heard was shocking. One of them has 80, other has 70, and a third one has 300. They said that they found some jobs to work for 15 days, and that their parents will give them money as well. I lied and I said I've made 250, and that I'll also be asking parents for money, which I won't. I did this because I knew they would be asking me for money there, and will want to give me money when they earn it when we come back. So yesterday we went out, and one of the friends asked me if I could give him 100 euros. That's like 10 days of hard work for me, and he will give me when we return from the trip. I said I don't have it, and as I was showing a meme to my friends, my dumbass fat-fingered on the banking app, and it showed I had 800 euros on balance. They were all very annoyed that I lied to them, but I've said that it's not their business. They've asked me if I can lend 2 of my friends 100 euros so they could have 400 instead of 300, but I refused because I was planning on buying nice shoes and clothes there with my hard-earned money and not to waste it on my friends that were too lazy to work. We've parted ways after that fight, and now they want to cancel the trip because number 1, they don't have any money for it, and number 2, they don't want to go with me. So, am I the idiot for lying to my friends? Not the idiot. They are not entitled to your money, and you don't owe them any either. Is it possible they knew you would have more money because they saw you were working all the time? Also, how are they planning to pay you back if 2 of them couldn't save up 100 euros in 2 months? By your ages, I assume you all live with parents and are barely out of school. Not the idiot. You never have to tell your friends how much money you actually have, for the very reason you were concerned. In fact, the more money you have, the less information you should reveal. There's nothing wrong with being generous when you want to, but anyone who demands it isn't really a friend. Not the idiot. Usually I don't agree with lying, but you had good reason to do so on this occasion. You're not their ATM. You're their friend. It's not your fault they are financially irresponsible, and you have every right to safeguard your hard-earned money from them. I guarantee you, if they don't have the money by now, they won't have the money to pay you back after this trip.